Guys, this is better than your Mars Scouse. Guys, check this Scouse video out. This is a naughty pan of Scouse. They say in the UK that we have no food traditions. Well, why are we called Scousers then? We're named after a pan of stew. Check it out. Okay guys, so Scouse from a Scouser. Regardless of all your different family recipes, and I use lamb and I use beef and all that shenanigans, this is my way and my family's way of doing it. Don't get me wrong, slightly elevated because I'm a better cook than the rest of my family. Who's gonna say that and throw it out there? For me, we want a slow cooking cut that's full of collagen, and it's gelatinous when you come to slow cook it. Ox cheek, shin of beef, and if you want, you're not too fussy, oxtail actually works a treat as well. Anyway, I'm going with ox cheek. So first we're gonna start colouring the beef off. Around here, Eduardo, pan on nice and hot, lid off. We're gonna season our beef up, plenty of salt. We're gonna get a bit of oil in the pan, give this a little mix. So we're gonna colour these off. The more colour the better. Get our pan on. The history of Liverpool goes so far back. You know, you think the city, when it was first called Liverpool, was the Vikings who found it, leaving muddy water. Now Scouse comes from that Viking terminology. You know, in Wales, they call it lobscouse. In Liverpool, obviously, Scouse, with us all being Scousers, lobby in Stoke. And it all comes from that basic one pot wonder, hearty beef stew. And people go, I'll have it with lamb or mutton, would have been most common back in the day. But our family have always had it with beef. So, you're getting it with beef. You get them out for a little bit. So I just wanted to do that in two sections. No reason, wasn't draining my fat up or anything. It's just so that I had enough space in the pan to get colour on all pieces. So I'm going to put that beef back in now, just to get it into the butter. So I'm going to finish it with the butter, because the butter will burn quite quick. So the key is to have nice brown butter to get some flavour in. I'll drain that off again, and then we'll get our Mirepoix in. That's okay. That's okay, do that. In with our Mirepoix. And I've got a little bouquet garni. Now I've used some catering cling film to tie that up. You just use some butcher string, you know what I mean, save the planet. Catering cling film, you're not going to have all those microplastics and all that shit you keep going on about. But, you know, it's not, you've got to think about recycling. I haven't got any butcher string on me, which I would always normally use. So that goes in. Cook off a little. Tie this up. It's a little tea bag. Back in with our beef. Scouse part 1. Now ox cheek needs a long time. It's probably the toughest one to slow cook because it is a very tough meat. As you can imagine, it's all in the jaw. So it's used all the time. All you do is see cows eating grass. That muscle's gonna be real tight but full of flavour. All that means is low and slow for a bit longer. That flavour is going to impart on the beef. So, a little bit of seasoning, a touch of salt, a touch of pepper, and then a few dashes of Worcester sauce at this point. Again, just layering the flavour up. So we're going to put that to bed for about 2.5 hours for a little sleep in the oven. 140 degrees. Subscribe so you guys don't miss out on upcoming recipes, behind the scenes footage, and banging recipes and ingredients. And how many times can you say recipes? Subscribe, like, bish bash bosh, there you go. With the Scouse, you've got to have some dumplings. Now you can have suet dumplings. I love some butter dumplings. So it's literally half the weight of flour to butter. We're going to crumb this in our hands. Got a bit of parsley going in, a little bit of salt, and a bit of pepper, and that's self-raising flour. So I've grated the butter to make it easier to mix in. It's so easy to make. If you haven't got self-raising flour, you can literally just whack a teaspoon of baking powder in. It's going to give it a little kick, a little rise. These also freeze really well. So you see that sort of breadcrumb texture? That's what we're after. I'm just going to put a bit of milk in there to bring it together. You can use water if you want. 40 grams So that's how easy it is to knock some dumplings together. Check out the website for the recipe. I'll throw it all on there. They can be frozen. They can go in the fridge until you need them. About 40 grams. They're going to take about 20 minutes to cook on top of your stew in the oven. Let them just sit on top. Don't dunk them because they'll sink and go soggy. Poach them in a soup. Put them in a stew. Bake them as they are. Completely up to you. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Right, time to get the ox cheek out. The part 1 of the scouse. Bring it over to the board. So that looks delicious. So I'm using this pan here only as a vessel. You don't need a big pan, you just need something to retain the stock. So sieve over the top. So this is like nearly there, the beef. Still got a bit of a bite to it. But again, with it being ox cheek, remember it's a much tougher cut, so it just needs that extra hour, which will be fine because we're now going to finish the rest of the scouse off. So all this veg, with it being in the oven for so long now, will have imparted all its flavour into that stock. So I want to then use fresh veg. Again, you can eat this, there's nothing wrong with eating it, but I want to use fresh veg. So the carrots are still holding the sweetness, the onions are still got a bite, and then the potatoes have still got a bit of a bite. So you're left with this beautiful stock. Yeah, you can use your stock cubes from the supermarket. They've already got all this flavouring already in. And now we start actually making a pan of scouse. Now some people, and again all different cultures, different family traditions, have the scouse in different ways. So some people have it more like a hash, where it's much more potato based. The potatoes are broken down and soft. In our family we tend to have it more of a stew. So we have our potatoes cooked nicely and still retaining the shape, and that's why we use nice waxy potato. But again, because there's so many different cultures and so many different variants, there's no real right way. There's just a wrong way if it tastes awful. Now we start cooking with the intent of finishing the flavour. So a bit of butter, touch of oil, a pinch of salt in there ready for the vegetables. The onions in, the carrots, just sweat them off a little. I've kept it all quite chunky now, so the onions, they're not perfectly diced. They're just a little bit bigger than a dice. Again, this is a pan of stew, so you don't have to worry too much about the size. It doesn't have to be too fine. Beef can go in. Now, veg-wise, I always almost go equal quantities, onions, carrots and spuds, and beef, so it's all nice and even. So potatoes go in. That's enough for me. Gosh. I'm going to bring that to the boil. Check the seasoning at this point. You can taste the clove, the star anise, adds real umami, real depth of flavour. I like the acidity of Worcester sauce, so I'm going to season it with a bit more salt, a touch of pepper, because I like the heat of pepper, and then a bit of Worcester sauce as well. You can also, you have to trust me on this, I won't do it today because you'll go, oh, he's a heathen and all that, but soy sauce is a real good seasoning agent for a stew. It doesn't make it taste like an Asian dish, but it adds colour, it adds a bit more layers of flavour, but also the salt as well, instead of adding more salt. So it's a good alternative, and I would do that in the restaurant, because then the customers go, wow, what's this? It's allowed to be different. That's the beauty of food, the different cultures, the different histories. There's no right way of doing it, there's only a wrong way of doing it. If you want to use mutton, use some bloody mutton. I'll give you scouse with lamb or beef. You can have it. Don't put chicken in it though, otherwise you're getting shot. You can cook this up on the stove if you wish, finish it off on the stove, or you can go back in your oven. It's going into oven for 30-40 minutes, and then we're going to take the lid off and put our dumplings on and finish it for 20 minutes on a higher heat. 30 seconds left, Ed. Hurry up, man. Hurry up. Hurry up. I've got to get the dumplings on top. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That flavour's banging. Keep the lid off. I'm going to whack the oven up to about 180. And these lovely little butter dumplings, these could be coming out of the freezer. You could bake them from frozen. You just need probably an extra 20 minutes, but these will be 20 minutes in the oven. Once you've mixed it, you don't want to agitate your dumplings because you want them to get a nice little crust on top. As soon as you sink them, a lot of the time they can just go heavy and soggy and dense. Where should we go here? Woohoo! 20 minutes to rest. At least allow it to relax, come down in temp. All those flavours will be more obvious when it doesn't burn your mouth. Whoosh. Oh, it's hot. So we've got a scouse here to taste the scouse. We'll make yourself a little. It's hot. It's hot.
Yeah, nice that.
Try the dumpling. That's naughty there. Oh, they're good.
Oh yeah,
They're good, them, aren't they?
stick to your ribs stuff.
There's a full pot there. Yeah, go on. Yeah, that's how you make scouse, guys. Don't give a shit what you think or how your mother used to cook it. That's how we do it.